Long, long ago, Maryland was a very different place than it is today. Imagine a time before big cities, before roads, even before people. This was the Mesozoic Era, often called the Age of Dinosaurs. Giant creatures, the dinosaurs, walked the land where Maryland now stands. The air was warm and the ground was wet like a swamp in many areas. Lush green plants grew everywhere, providing food for some dinosaurs and hiding places for others. This ancient world was full of life, and dinosaurs were the kings and queens of this land. We know about these amazing animals because they left clues behind. These clues are called fossils. Fossils can be bones, teeth, footprints, or even dinosaur poop. Scientists called paleontologists study these fossils. They are like detectives, piecing together the story of life on Earth millions of years ago. Maryland has a rich history of these fossil discoveries. These finds help us understand what life was like during the early Cretaceous period, about 115 to 110 million years ago. So, when we talk about Maryland's dinosaurs, we are talking about real animals that lived and breathed. They walked on the same ground under the same sun, though the world looked much different. Learning about them helps us understand how Earth and its life have changed over vast amounts of time. The story of Maryland's dinosaur fossils began a long time ago, even before scientists fully understood what dinosaurs were. Back in the 1800s, people sometimes found strange, large bones. In 1858, something remarkable happened. Workers at an iron ore mine in Prince George's County found some unusual teeth. These weren't like the teeth of any animal they knew. They were big, and they looked very, very old. These were some of the very first dinosaur fossils found in North America. These first discoveries were often made by accident. Miners digging for iron ore, or farmers working their fields, would stumble upon these stony remains. At the time, the science of paleontology was still very young. Many people didn't know what to make of these giant bones and teeth. Imagine their surprise. They were holding parts of creatures that had lived millions of years before humans. One of the important early figures was a doctor and chemist named Christopher Johnston. He recognized that some of these bones were special. He sent some teeth found in 1859 to a famous paleontologist named Dr. Joseph Leidy in Philadelphia. Dr. Leidy realized they belonged to a new kind of dinosaur, one that had never been seen before. This was a huge step in understanding Maryland's prehistoric past and put the state on the paleontological map. One of the most famous dinosaurs from Maryland is called Astrodon johnstoni. This dinosaur holds a special place in the state's heart. In fact, Astrodon johnstoni is the official state dinosaur of Maryland. This honor was given to it in 1998. The name Astradon means star tooth. Dr. Leidy chose this name because when he looked at a thin slice of its tooth under a microscope, he saw a star-like pattern. The second part of its name, johnstoni, honors Christopher Johnston, who helped bring the first teeth to scientific attention. Astrodon was a type of dinosaur called a sauropod. Sauropods were truly giant animals. They had very long necks, long tails, and huge bodies. They walked on four thick, strong legs, like pillars holding up a building. Astrodon was a plant eater or herbivore. It used its long neck to reach high into the trees, munching on leaves and branches. Imagine a creature as tall as a two-story house, slowly moving through the ancient Maryland forests. It must have been an incredible sight to behold. In Laurel, Maryland, there is a very special place called Dinosaur Park. This park is not like other parks with swings and slides. It is a real fossil site. It is one of the most important places on the east coast of the United States for finding early Cretaceous dinosaur fossils. The park covers about 41 acres of land. This land contains layers of ancient rock and clay, particularly the Arundel Clay Formation, which is famous for preserving fossils from about 115 million years ago. Dinosaur Park is unique because it allows the public to join in the search for fossils. On certain days, visitors can come and help paleontologists and trained volunteers look for ancient treasures. This makes science exciting and accessible to everyone, from young children to adults. People can learn how fossils are found and why they are important. It's a hands-on experience that connects people directly with Maryland's deep past. The work done at Dinosaur Park is very important for science. Every fossil found, no matter how small, adds to our knowledge of life during the early Cretaceous period. Section 5. A giant awakens. The Acrocanthosaurus shin bone. One of the most exciting recent discoveries from Maryland happened in April 2023. A volunteer fossil hunter at Dinosaur Park found something truly amazing. It was a piece of a shin bone called a tibia. But this wasn't just any bone, it was huge, measuring about 3 feet long. Scientists studied it carefully. They believe this massive bone belonged to a very large meat-eating dinosaur called Acrocanthosaurus. This discovery caused a lot of excitement among paleontologists and dinosaur fans alike. It was a truly significant find for the region. Acrocanthosaurus was a fearsome predator, one of the largest meat-eaters of its time in North America. It could grow up to 38 feet long and weigh several tons. It had a distinctive row of tall spines running along its back, which might have supported a sail or a ridge of muscle. Finding a bone from such a top predator is very rare. This shin bone is the largest theropod or meat-eating dinosaur bone ever found in Maryland. It gives us new proof that these giant carnivores were living in this area during the early Cretaceous period. The discovery of the Acrocanthosaurus shin bone is important for several reasons. Section 6. More amazing dinosaurs from the park. While Astradon and the newly found Acrocanthosaurus bone are star attractions, Dinosaur Park has yielded fossils from many other types of dinosaurs too. Each one tells a part of the story of this ancient Maryland environment. For example, paleontologists have found evidence of armored dinosaurs. One such dinosaur is called Priconodon. Priconodon was likely covered in bony plates and spikes which would have helped protect it from predators. We mostly know Priconodon from its very large, distinctive teeth, suggesting it was a type of nodosaur. Another group of dinosaurs found at the park are the Ornithomimoids. These dinosaurs are often called ostrich-mimic dinosaurs because they looked a bit like modern ostriches. They were fast runners with long legs, slender bodies, and long necks. They likely ate a variety of things, perhaps small animals, insects, and plants. Finding ornithomimoid fossils, such as bones from their feet or limbs, shows that these speedy dinosaurs were zipping through the Maryland landscape millions of years ago. Section 7, Beyond the Bones, a whole ancient ecosystem. The fossils found at Dinosaur Park tell us about more than just dinosaurs. They give us clues about the entire ecosystem that existed in Maryland during the early Cretaceous period. Alongside dinosaur bones and teeth, scientists and volunteers have discovered fossils of many other types of animals and even plants. These finds help us build a more complete picture of this ancient world. It wasn't just a land of dinosaurs. It was a rich environment teeming with diverse forms of life, both in the water and on land. For example, many fossils of turtles have been found. These ancient turtles lived in the rivers and swamps alongside the dinosaurs. Some of these turtle fossils include shells and bones. They show that turtles, much like their modern relatives, were a common sight in these watery habitats. Crocodile relatives also lived here. Their teeth and bony armor plates, called scutes, are sometimes found. Section 8. Unearthing Secrets. How we find Maryland's fossils. Finding dinosaur fossils is careful and patient work. At Dinosaur Park, the process often involves sifting through large amounts of clay. The Arundel clay, where the fossils are preserved, is very fine-grained. Volunteers and paleontologists will take buckets of this clay and wash it through screens. The screens have different mesh sizes. Water helps to wash away the fine clay particles, leaving behind any harder objects like pebbles and hopefully fossils such as teeth, small bones, or bone fragments. This method is called screen washing. When a larger fossil, like the Acrocanthosaurus shin bone, is discovered, the process is different. Sometimes these larger bones are spotted weathering out of an embankment or are hit by a lucky shovel. Once a potential large fossil is found, paleontologists work very carefully to excavate it. They use small tools like dental picks and brushes to slowly remove the surrounding rock and clay without damaging the fragile fossil. Section 9. Maryland's Dinosaurs, Why They Still Matter Today. The dinosaur fossils discovered in Maryland are incredibly important. They provide a unique window into life during the early Cretaceous period, around 110 to 115 million years ago. This was a critical time in Earth's history, a time when flowering plants were just beginning to appear and dinosaur communities were diverse and thriving. The fossils found here, from the mighty Astradon to the fierce Acrocanthosaurus, help us understand the biodiversity of eastern North America during this period. Without these fossils, a whole chapter of our planet's story would be missing. These discoveries also contribute to a larger global understanding of dinosaurs. By comparing Maryland's fossils with those found in other parts of the world, scientists can learn about dinosaur evolution, how they spread across continents, and how different ecosystems supported different types of dinosaurs. For example, understanding the predators like Acrocanthosaurus and herbivores like Astradon helps reconstruct ancient food webs. Every new find, even a small tooth, can add a crucial piece to this giant puzzle of prehistoric life, helping us see the bigger picture. Furthermore, places like Dinosaur Park play a vital role in education and public engagement. They make science accessible and exciting,